Hi there, this is Nilson Lima, and I want to discuss with this free community ocean project. Initially have that the waking for the boats is not working anymore. So when you have your boats sailing, they should leave a trail of foam when they pass through the waves, and this is not happening. So before we get into the issue itself, let me just explain how the things works, because of course there should be other ways to approach how to make the foam wakes, and I want to explain how this is accomplished in this particular project. It's quite a consistent, and I think the visual is appealing. I don't see a cost since you're not adding any more textures to the map, and what was done would behave like we have a decal spawning on top of the oceans. And for this, looking at your content folder, you'll see that inside the ocean folder you have another folder called foam wakes. So you enter this and you see two things. One, it's a material. It's just a translucent material. Okay. When you have a texture, it will be right here, a texture, some sphere masks, and you have a blend for the camera position, meaning that if you are too far you can like disable it completely, doing what it's not disabling, sorry. You have this distance blend here to make the displacement and for position a little bit less than it is, and you see that it also uses the same wave functions we have in the main materials for our waves. This is important because since this will work as a decal, you need that the way it is displaced is the same as your waves, otherwise you'll not work. So the BP wake is an actor. Okay, it's an actor. So it is just setting this material to, it's telling here it's a spline mesh, but in fact it is not. So you see that it's just a static mesh, and if I put it here you see that it is a static mesh component, so it's not a spline. I think it was ideally going to work as a spline, but for somehow they decided to not to. There is a lifespan for this actor here set. So in an event graph, it's just like for every tick it is changing the radius and changing the opacity for the material. So you have right here opacity being multiplied by the sphere masks. So if we are decreasing this opacity and resetting it in the material, it starts with a value of 1, and when it goes 0 or below 0, you're just destroying the actor. So it means when the foam is really near 0 opacity, you don't need to have this actor anymore, so you destroy it. Otherwise you have an infinite amount of BP wake actors. So this is basically what this guy does. So now you might questioning how this BP wake is spawned. And so if we have a boat, so the boat should be responsible to spawn it, no place else. Seriously, it's like a kind of design thing we use in projecting systems, and each component has its own responsibilities. Even if you leave the task for the BP wake to have the ways for making the control of the wake, like the opacity, etc., and when it is destroyed, the one responsible for spawning this should be another place, and no better place than the actor itself, because the actor knows he is there, he is possessed, he is moving, and it is moving, and so on. So we have to get this fish boat here, and you have to edit, and you see we are in 4.20. It will be the same at 4.21. There is something broken here. It is telling us that is a function. It is unsafe to call in a construction script. So let's click here and see that this piece of code is unsafe to be put in a construction script. That's not important for the sake of the boat does nothing in the editor, so you see that they don't even react to the waves. So you might want to disconnect this, place this one here, remove this pin, and we'll place this somewhere else. So I'll cut this, and the event graph, we need to put it on a good place. So you have to check. I did this already, so you don't have any begin plate node here. Okay, there is no begin node plate. So we place here. First we paste it here, and we just call begin plate. That's when we want for these things to be set. So you compile again, everything is fine right now, save, and again, for the sake of understanding how the wake thing works, you see that we have our boat here. This is the structure for our boat, and you have this wake emitter. It is not effectively an emitter, it's just a placeholder. So we see that it is an arrow component. Yeah. So how do you see, if you click here in viewport, how can you see this damn arrow here? It's like kind of hard to see. There are two ways. You can like click in static mesh, it is our boat mesh, and you go here and unclick and check the visible, and then you click here and you see the emitter here. So if you remember this position here, it means that this is the position the BP wake actor you use as a reference point to make the spawning to occur. So again, we are not having an emitter here, it's just an arrow component. This arrow component is hidden in game, so we won't see it. It's just a reference for us, a placeholder. So get back for a static mesh, make it visible again. So it is like here. So it means that the wakes will be forming around, you see that this probably this is the center of mass, but as we have a physical thing, like a boat will be having its front up a little bit when trying to cross a wave. So it means that just this tip of the boat will be like a little bit elevated, so it is nice to see that the foam will start making around here, and the boat is moving forward. So so basically, if we get back to the event graph, and we have the tick function here, the tick event, there are some things here. So this point here we have in the emitter being used here, we get in this world location, and there are a few conditions here. First, you have to be spawn wake in your boat. Here, spawn wake have to be set if you want your boat to spawn the wakes, and if the difference between the last position and the current position is higher or equal 700 units. I guess this is in centimeters, because this is we'll have doing the subtraction from here, and we are using real units. We are getting also the last position, so you are spawning the actor BP wake here if we're using the last position. The Z is the same Z as the BP ocean, so you get all the actors of Clash BP ocean. You have just to be 1, and we are getting the Z, and you're getting from the emitter the world rotation, because you can be turning your boat to the right or to the left. So it means that if you rotate your boat during movement, and all these things here are just attached to the mesh, so their references will be rotated as well. So you're getting the yaw, it is a Z, and using it to transform the actor you are spawning as well. That is this is a condition to spawn the actor as well. You see that this little piece here, it seems to be set as the last thing, because we have this shorter space here. I think this was set earlier, and they included this in the last time. I really don't remember. This project is so old, I don't remember who made this feature, but this is how it works. Honor here, it you consider the self reference, so we are not setting this. So okay, everything seems logical, everything seems okay to work. How do you possess the boat so you can drive it? First things, you can get the player start. It is right here, and you can move it and place it inside the boat. Right here and here. Type F to get faster. Like so. We are not there yet. I have just to make it seated right here. And also, let's rotate this blue arrow for it to look this direction. And I think we are set. We hit play, and here we are. So it was made as a demonstration for these few assets we have here. It's all contribution from the community, and you approach something, you have this message telling if you hit E key, you interact with it. In case this is a cannon, so it will fire a cannonball. And the same has happened with the boat. If this doesn't show, you can like move it here and move again, and you press E, then now you are in control of the boat. You see now I am rotating the boat. It's not the 30-person pawn at this time. And if I press W, you move, and what should be happening here, it's that behind the boat you should see wakes, and this is not happening. But then I discovered I want you guys to look at this portion of the screen while I am piloting the boat, and you guys will see, I just click it here so you guys can have a better reference, but you see there are some actors being created here, and this is only happening when you see that right now nothing's changing there. Right now nothing's changed, but as I am moving, you see that the scroll bar is like moving. There is ways to see it, but I'm kinda lazy, I'm not showing this. But this is the BP wake being created. So our blueprint is being created, but somehow it's not showing the wakes. And if you see, depending on the camera position, see, the wakes are showing in this camera position. So something is like blocking this to show. See, this white phone you can see is our wakes, but depending on the camera position you can't see them anymore. So I start to think, what should it be? I look at the materials and nothing was like suspicious, except for the fact that both ocean types, we are using the Ocean Ultra right now, and see that Ocean Ultra is translucent, and the material for the wakes are also translucent. And then we have sort of an issue here, because we have two translucent objects. One is applied to this mesh, and the Ocean Ultra is applied to the ocean plane right here. And for translucence we have an issue with sorting, because the engine must know each translucent object to put on top of the other, otherwise you can't figure, the engine can't figure how to properly show this. And this is something you don't have in material, but just for the sake of showing you guys how it was not an illusion created by the peak of the wave crest is here, making me think I was seeing the wakes. We'll change the material for the wake. Instead of translucent, you change it to opaque. So opaque will be really ugly, but you'll see that the wakes are showing up. So here you go, type E to process, and this is our wakes. You see that after some time their opacity and they will be destroyed as well. You see that you can, like I'm doing a curve using D as I should with a palm, and you see that it's correctly placing the actors here, and they are being destroyed after some time. And of course this is ugly because it's now opaque, and making it opaque is not a solution. So you get it back to the translucent mode. And this I showed you guys just for you guys to understand that everything is working, but seeing the most complicated stuff, it's just placing the actors and making them spawn, and you just have an issue with the sorting between two different translucent materials. So the materials itself, you can have how to tell them you have higher priority than the others, but you can for the meshes. So right now the ocean plane, if you look like by here, this is data for the mesh. Okay, you have this translucent sort priority, it is currently 0. So if I want like a translucent ball on top of this ocean, for making it possible for this translucent ball to show on top of the ocean, you have to change this sphere, this ball, sort priority to something higher than 0. So for us to fix our issue with the awaken, you have to click in the BP wake. This is our mesh when you're applying the wake material, and you have to look at that same field for the sort priority. So I told you that anything priority higher than 0, they should set here. So you just place 1 here. Could be anything else. As we are dealing with basically 2 ocean material types, you can say that the wake and the ocean ultra in this case. This is good because you don't have to change the materials, you can just apply it for each match. It is the sort priority. So I've placed just 1 here. We have make the wake material translucent again. So as we have changed this sorting here, everything should right away works. And there you go, we have our wakes again. Let's make a curve. So basically you can control in the BP wake the radius for the wake and the opacity as well. If you look at the boat, if there is somewhere we are adjusting this, it seems we are not, but we could. BP wake, you can tell prior to its spawning or after it is spawning, a opacity value and a radius value. Like radius right here is 500, and remember that we are feeding this radius to the wake material, so we expect a radius here and an opacity. So you can change that right after the you have it spawn. This pin here is the reference for your spawning actor. So right after this, you can like use a set value for radius. So if your boat or whatever object is moving through the ocean is different, you can like set a different radius and a different opacity if you want to. So you can control like if it's a big object and a bigger radius and so on. The thing is that it's now working again. I will not make any changes to the repository right now. You just give it some time. Right now I want to like fork this project and put into the thread, and for that fork to be like another branch that will only focus on that one, and everyone should refer to that specific branch I will create. So, and then I can control every changes is made into this asset. Like this one, it's a very small change to make a beautiful feature work again. Hope you guys have enjoyed this, and spread the word that now we have this feature working again, and see you guys soon. Bye bye.